8.9 FM.
And just like last week, I have only one person on the program today, and it will be like some sort of review, because we'll be talking about a book that he has written. This is not the first book that he has written, and he's a son of the soil. He has been a commissioner here in Ondo State, and at some point he moved to the United States of America, where he worked with the United Nations. His name is Dr. Wumi Akintide, and he's from Akure here, Akure South Local Government. Welcome on the program.
Thank you very much.
You were commissioner under the
rural development.
Under the military administration then.
Yes,
military administrator. Which of the
IBB and Commander Koyon, who started this Directorate of Food, Roads and Rural Infrastructure, DFRI, they call it.
And what year was that?
That was 1986 under Governor Wumi Akintide.
What were you doing in Nigeria at the time before you became a commissioner?
I was secretary to the Joint Economic Commission of Nigeria with the rest of the world. So, and that was up to 1985. And in 1986, I got that invitation from Wumi Akintide, who was governor of Ondo State at that time, to come and be the pioneer director of DFRI in Ondo State. But he happened to be carried the same status as a commissioner at that time.
Okay. You said something to me, I think about a week or two ago. You said you did not even know the military administrator at the time, and that nobody recommended you to him, that you were just going for a TV program, and I noticed from there. Could you just shed light on that a bit before we go into talking about this book?
Yes, thank you very much for asking that question. There used to be a program on OSRC. Incidentally, your general manager was still at OSRC at that time, and there were two programs. One was controversy, and the other was current affairs. I participated actively in those programs. I was either interviewed or called upon to moderate the program.
Okay.
It was while doing that the governor, it was a weekly program. The governor knew the time. There would be an announcement that I'll be coming on air at such a time. So, unknown to me, the governor, Wumi Akintide, was watching that program. And he seems to like the program. That was how he came to know me. Before then, I didn't know him from Adam.
So nobody recommended you for that position?
No. He himself, he just identified me as somebody that could work with government. And I think he had that program on. And they were looking for the pioneer director of DFRI in Ondo State. And he said he couldn't think of anybody within Ondo State that could get that job. From the way I was talking, and because he knew I was a federal officer before then. So, and this was a federal program, and it was the only program that had money at that time. Ondo State was not this rich at the time, because Ondo State was not part of the oil producing state at the time. So, Ondo State was as poor as a church rat at that moment. And the only department that actually had good funding was the DFRI, which I headed.
So after that, you left Nigeria for the United States?
Yes. After that, before that, I had...
You got the UN job before you left?
Yes, I got the UN job before the offer was made to me. But the offer was made on a platter of gold. I couldn't refuse it. It was something I couldn't refuse.
It was too good to refuse?
It was too good to refuse. And the governor made it in such a way that, in fact, he gave me all the freedom to dictate all I wanted and so on. If I asked for it, it's granted. So I felt that an obligation, because I was serving my state. Before then, I served in the federal government, but I've never served in Ondo State. I thought it was a challenge. And so because of that, I put the UN job on the sideline and then took that job.
So after that assignment, you went to the United States?
After that assignment, in fact, after Wumi Akintide left, there was no reason for me really to leave, because...
To stay?
To stay, yeah. So... what
kind of job were you doing at the UN?
It was in connection with the mission. You know, I told you that I was secretary to the Nigerian Trade Commission with the rest of the world. So it has something to do with the trade and all of that.
Okay, let's talk about your book. Like I said, this is not the first book that you've written. You've written The Lion King and The Corpse. That is a special tribute to Deji Afunbiowo Adeshoda. And then this is the new one, The Voice of Reasoning, a collection of thought-provoking essays. How did you come about these essays? Let's begin from there.
Yeah,
were they published in the newspapers?
Yes, they were published in
all of them.
Facebook, most of them in the Facebook or international, some of them in international journals, most of them on the Facebook, really. Facebook actually made this thing popular, you know, because I used to write a lot of articles. And once you put it on Facebook, it reaches millions of people.
That's true. That's true.
So the coverage went wider and wider. A lot of people know me that I don't even know. But they've read some of my stuff. And it was out of, I must have written about 5,000 articles. And so
5,000?
5,000, yes.
How many do you have in this Voice of Reason?
Less than 100, I think. 100.
Okay, so you still have a lot.
A lot, yes.
Now
in fact, the publisher wanted 5 volumes because there's too much, but it was costing too much. So I said, okay, let us just do the first volume first. And the reason why I was doing it was in part because of this reading culture, lack of reading culture in this country. It has become a major problem that I thought has to be addressed.
Especially with people in my generation.
Yes.
Yes. Your generation was better. My generation does not go to the library.
People don't want to read. In fact, people don't want to read more than a page.
They don't even want to read online.
So
it's that bad.
In fact, Mike Zuckerberg has done a lot by creating the Facebook and the WhatsApp and the Messenger platforms. Because that's why people are able to read anything. Otherwise, you cannot go to any university student and you give him read about 25 pages. He cannot read it.
They don't seem to have the patience at the time.
They don't have the patience, and even when you go to some of the university libraries, you marvel. You know, how can you have a library? I mean, a university without a library? And education industry is about the most popular industry in Nigeria today. Private nurseries, private secondary schools, private universities all over the place. But go to those universities, go to their library. Library should be the hub center of every learning institution. In fact, the University of Connecticut, where I attended, a whole building of 12 stories was all the library. So, and in fact, it's 24 hours. They don't even charge. It's 24. It's open 24 hours.
24 so, round the clock.
Round the clock, so that
you can walk in anytime.
They can walk in and read and so on. But some of the universities we have here, they don't even have libraries. In fact, I visited one. There's a college of education at Iroke, and the guy who started it came from the United States.
Yeah, I think I know him.
In fact, he actually applied to buy 12 copies of The Lion King.
Okay.
And I said, he said, what do you want to do with it? He said he wanted to put it in the library. So I took time off to go there and visit the library.
And what did you see?
Oh, my God. That was not the library.
Okay, let's not get into that. There are 4 parts,
yes.
4 sessions
yes.
of this book. Yes. You wrote about global issues. That is one part.
Yes.
The United States of America, where you live. Mm-hmm. You still live there?
Yes, I still live there.
Okay. Nigerian political institutions and regional issues.
Yes.
Then essays on issues of general interest. Okay, let's begin from the global issues. I've gone through this book. You mentioned the Iran deal. That is a popular one. And you seem to, going through your writing, you seem to criticize the Republicans that Obama did well and they are not doing well. Let me quote some of the things the majority of Democrats have almost demonstrated a better appreciation of the melting pot transformation of America. They do so more than the Republicans, who still act and behave as if nothing has changed in America. Democrats and the Republicans both agree that America remains the greatest military power on earth, but they both have a profound disagreement on how that power should be projected or deployed around the world. The Republicans dominate the military-industrial complex of America, and they love and appreciate more than they treasure and seek peace. And now, and then you talked about the relationship between Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister. Under this American president, Jerusalem was recognized as the capital of Israel.
Yes.
And obviously, the Palestinians have serious issue. Even, let me say, the Arab world have a serious issue with this. And you seem to say that Netanyahu is more intelligent than Trump, and he continues to micromanage Trump. Why do you say that?
Because it is the truth. I served for a little while I was in the United Nations. Netanyahu was the permanent rep of the State of Israel.
Okay. He had not become the Prime Minister at the time.
He has not become Prime Minister. It was after that he went and became.
So you knew him closely?
I knew him very well. And he's a very smart guy. There's no question about that. But what we were saying...
Was he a Mossad?
Mossad,
you will not know. You will not know.
Mossad is the secret service.
You will not know.
You know that everybody every Israeli has to serve in the military.
Yes. It's compulsory.
When you are man, you have to serve at least 3 years. When you are female, you have to give at least 2 years if you are not married. So everybody, if you call everybody a Mossad, they have some understanding of what Mossad is all about. So in that sense, Netanyahu was a very, very smart guy. But what I was talking about, the Israeli deal, the one that Obama worked out.
I offered okay.
Yes. It offered the best chance to keep Iran from developing the nuclear bomb. It offered the best chance. Not 100% chance, but the deal was made in such a way that what Iran would have gotten in 2-3 years, it was increased to about 25 years.
And all the world powers agree with Obama.
Of course, they have to agree because it was a joint effort.
But Trump walked back on that agreement.
He walked down on that agreement because he did not appreciate the nature of collaboration. World collaboration is so important. Look at it now. We're facing coronavirus. If you want to do it piecemeal, it will not work.
Everybody has to work together.
Yes, we have to work together to be able to tackle this problem because it's a scourge, and it is not something that we can do piecemeal. That was why I thought that Obama had a better grip on that matter than
Trump.
Than Donald Trump. Yes, but Donald Trump did something about this recognizing.
You love that.
I just went to. After that, I went to as a pilgrim on a pilgrimage.
You went to Jerusalem.
To Jerusalem, and I saw everywhere you see picture of Donald Trump. Everybody praising him that he did something that it should have been done. I think he took a gamble. It was a gamble. You cannot.
And many people were not expecting Trump to do that. Yes. Maybe because he had German roots. Many people were expecting that somebody with German roots would not have done that. But then, when you look at present-day Jerusalem, it does not totally belong to the Jews, to the Israelis. And that is where I think there are issues with Palestinians on it.
No, yes.
Let me read something to you.
Okay.
The Arab League chief.
Likud Party.
No, the Arab League chief.
Oh, okay.
He said, in all honesty, we didn't expect that the proposed end of the road will be as disappointing and unfair as it is, although the signals have been there. And they refer to, let me quickly take you down my memory lane. Trump came up with his own plan for peace in the Middle East.
Yes.
That's what they are referring to here.
But
and they are also saying that the plan itself, and that the offer state, the state that it seems to offer the Palestinians, is no state at all.
Yes, because if you are negotiating peace between me, somebody is negotiating peace between me and you. If any of us feel that the person negotiating that peace is not honest or is too one-sided, he's killed the deal. You must
because they've totally rejected that now.
Yes, because making no mistake about it, Donald Trump is siding with Israel, and he came out to say that.
And it is obvious.
So how will you negotiate when you are supposed to?
You are taking sides.
You're taking sides. Yeah. And that was what actually killed him. Because you have to show that at least you are fair to both sides. Jimmy Carter was able to do that at the Camp David Accord, which kept the peace for more than 35 years between Israel and the most important Arab state, which is Egypt. They kept peace. because of what Jimmy Carter negotiated between Menachem Begin as Prime Minister of Israel and Anwar Sadat as President of Egypt. It lasted up to 35 years. In fact, even up to now, there's been no war between Egypt and
Israel.
Even what Donald Trump is able to do now, it was because there is peace between Israel and Egypt. Because once you take Egypt out of the equation, there's very little left out of the Arab solidarity. If Egypt is not part of it. So what Donald Trump is trying to do now is he is hoping that if he can get the Saudis, because they have money.
Yeah, of course, and their allies.
As their allies. If he can, so he's signing a deal with the Saudis to protect them, to do this and that. He felt that once he has the Saudis and he has the Egyptians on his side, that he can get away with murder. He can say anything and nothing will happen. And to some extent, I think he was right about that. You know, because people complain about this recognition of Jerusalem for some time.
Yes.
But the complaint is dying down now. And that was because two Arab states that are so important, that are so critical for peace. You talk of Saudi Arabia with all their oil money, and you talk of Egypt with all their military power. And those two now are now technically speaking on the side of the United States.
Okay, what that plan is offering them now? Okay, 60% of the West Bank with no control over territorial water, air, border, security alliances. Yeah. Now, as somebody, maybe, I think I could call you a diplomat. What solution? What do you think is even if there's no solve all solution, what do you think will be the right solution to that problem between the Israelis and the Palestinians?
This two-state solution is the best. It's going to be the best. Two-state.
But Israel will not make. It is obvious that Israel is not ready to make some concessions.
Well, they are ready to make some concessions as long as certain conditions are met. You know, for instance, Israel wanted cease what you call the covenant relationship between them and God. And because of that, they regard Jerusalem as Israel, belonging to Israel.
Yes.
But right now, Jerusalem is a divided city. Part of it controlled by the Palestinians, and part of it controlled
by Israel.
Yes. They want to be able to control that so that Jerusalem will be the undivided capital of the state of Israel. And that's why they are so much in love with Donald Trump right now. And he did it making sure that there were only two forces that he needed to get on his side. Egypt was already on his side
and Saudi Arabia,
through something negotiated by Jimmy Carter. And then he went after Saudi Arabia because the man lost money and he knows he can get a lot of money out of them. And because he's selling them all these F-16, F-14 bombers and so on. Because Saudi Arabia has a lot of money, but they cannot defend themselves. And the kind of thing they are practicing in Saudi Arabia, their own people will rise against them. So they need to be protected. They need security from a guarantee of defense by America. I think that was what Donald Trump was trying to take advantage of. And he saw his chance, and that even if he goes ahead and approves Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, nothing is going to happen. And so far, nothing has happened yet.
Okay, you also wrote about, let's talk about the annexation of Crimea by Russia.
Yes.
You seem to be on the side of Russia on this one, and that the U.S. has no right, has no moral right whatsoever to criticize Russia.
I'm a little bit, I have a second opinion on that.
Okay,
let's hear because Crimea and Ukraine is so important to Russia. But because of...
but Crimea they wanted to be part of Russia.
Because they are so close to Russia, and they know that as long as they are not guaranteed security by the West, Russia can roll over them at any time, which was exactly what happened. It was exactly what happened. It was a tiny little state that they can roll over. And you are talking about a superpower like Russia. So That problem is not going to be resolved that quick, but it's a big problem right there. But Russia, Vladimir Putin wants to put his stamp, his imprimatur, on power to show that even though Russia was losing out as a result of the fall of the Russian Empire, and Russia
the old USSR,
former USSR, they want to rebuild. 15 republics broke away.
But is that possible to rebuild in this modern time?
But well, if America is facing a lot of problems, they can quietly rebuild. It's better today. Now today, America, Donald Trump is talking as if he's an ally of Russia than any other place. Even some of his allies, traditional allies, he's boycotting them only to side with Russia. That's a win for Russia. So, and when the whole of the West is in turmoil, then Russia can afford to rebuild itself. So
what's your assessment of Putin?
I think he's a great president for his people. He's a great president for his people.
And he was a KGB operator.
KGB operator, he was a KGB. That's the secret police.
He's now FSB now. He's FSB now. It used to be KGB.
KGB. So they are very, very powerful. Very powerful. He knows about a lot of all these things. And he's the one. I don't think there's no way that Donald Trump can actually withstand him. Because
mentally
and anything. He's a very, very powerful man.
Okay, and you agree with the buzz in the American media that Russia influenced the 2016 presidential election?
Oh, I'm of the firm opinion they did. And that was
because I was expecting Clinton to win that election.
Yes. Well, what happened?
And I think many people were also expecting Hillary to win that.
And
election.
she won. She won the
electoral college. You know how it is with the US.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you don't have the electoral
college, with over 3 million votes.
Yes, 570 handpicked electors. Now, about 137 million voted. 62 for Donald Trump and 65 for Hillary. That should have settled it if it was just one man, one vote.
Yes, or like Nigeria, where if you have the majority of the vote, you easily win.
Even the Nigerian situation is even slightly better because you have to.
That's what I'm saying.
You have to win at least 2/3 in certain areas. Yes. It's even better than the one they had in the United States, where only 570 handpicked electors will have to determine the outcome of an election. I think that was. I think it has outlived its usefulness, but before they can change it, it's going to be hard to change it.
Why do you think that was even in their system? The founders of America. Why do you think they put that in their system?
They put it there to begin with because when it first started, America was not as sophisticated as it is now. What the founding fathers were thinking was that a decision to elect a president ought not to be taken by people who are illiterate, who don't understand the issues. So they felt that they had to, apart from the popular vote, that they still have to select people who understand what are the basic issues and to make sure that everything covers all of the 50 states of America. And that's why they introduced it. But my argument is that
time has changed.
Time has changed. That's my argument. My argument is that contraction has outlived its usefulness and is ripe for a change. And so many people are already talking about it too, but that's my view too.
Let's talk about the Arab Spring because that's another thing you wrote about in this book. The Arab Spring started from Tunisia when a certain young man, I think he was selling fruits.
Yes.
I think that was upturned or something happened, and then he set himself on fire, self-immolation.
Yes.
That was how Arab Spring started, and from Tunisia, Libya, Syria. Now, let me ask you, when you look back and look at the Arab Spring, how would you describe? Do you see it as a revolt or a revolution?
I think it was a mistake, and I think it was a sellout. Because...
But was it a revolution or a revolt?
A revolt.
Okay.
They made the Arabs revolt against their status quo. But after revolting against the status quo, what they have in place Now, looking back on hindsight, it's not better than what they had before. For example, let's take Libya that we were talking about. Libya under Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah, people will tell you that Muammar Gaddafi was a radical, he was an authoritarian. But during his regime, Libya was much more comfortable now than it is. Right now, Libya does not know peace. And Gaddafi even made a statement recently. He said some of these advanced countries create the coronavirus, and then they create the antidote, and they give you the impression that they are the ones solving the whole problem. They created the problem to begin with.
You said recently Gaddafi is late. You said recently.
No, Gaddafi made the statement before he died.
Okay, before he died.
Yes,
okay.
Before he died, not recently. He made the statement.
But would you say? Okay, would you say there are any gains from the Arab Spring?
Well, it was
Any gains at all?
It was supposed to create an awareness that they didn't have freedom.
Or to create reforms?
Yeah, to create reforms.
Do we have those reforms now?
No,
in those Arab
the
nations?
reforms have turned to haywire. It's not the whole place is in a mess right now. It's in a turmoil. It's in a turmoil right now. Libya. We go back to Libya now. Libya is no longer what it used to be, and that's not.
But what about Tunisia?
What about
Tunisia? I think Tunisia, after that, transited to
stabilize a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, it stabilize a little bit, but even there too, it's not hunky dory that we think.
When that thing was raging, did you expect that it was going to get to countries like Saudi Arabia? Were you expecting that?
Yes, people were expecting that, but in Saudi Arabia, they were shaking to their pants too, because they said they thought that thing was going to spread to their own country, where only a family rule the whole country. Can you imagine that?
But would you love a change of status quo in Saudi Arabia?
I would love it.
Would you have loved it?
Yes, I would love it. I mean, in a situation where one family rules a country, I don't think that can be a good thing. You know, power to spread and so on. Even right now, because of the power of the king and the family, only one family rules that country. I don't think that's not an ideal situation in a democracy.
They are not practicing democracy. They are not practicing democracy.
It's a feudalistic system.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the launch of this book. It is coming up on the 2nd of April. Am I right? Where is that? And
it's at FUTA, Federal University of Technology, Akure. But I don't know what is going on now with all this corona,
the ban
and the ban,
social gathering and all of that.
Yeah. In fact, I'm appearing for this service because the service is an important service. It has been paid for, and it has. I have to appear to do it. I thought it's important to really go ahead to do it, but I'm right now with the stampede about corona virus.
Because some of the people you're expecting there, for instance, the Oni of Ife, Nitogusi, Indigene of Akure, Papa Akintide, Professor Panji Akintide.
Yes,
this is some
a lot
people
of them.
because I don't think some of these people, from what I think they want to also obey the ban on social gatherings. And universities have been short as well. Universities
even the venue that we are going to use. So I'm not sure what is going to happen. I can't tell you right now that it will go on, because I myself too, I don't want to break government rule. And this problem, the coronavirus, is a world.
It's a serious one.
And it's like the whole world. It's not just Nigeria alone. It affects so many things, and it might affect it, I guess. But I have a commitment to do this program, and I still want to do it.
Let me get your take on this coronavirus. You live in the United States of America. I watch Trump daily. His briefing. There was one I watched last Friday where he lambasted the NBC reporter, when that guy was asking him a question about, Trump came out to say that chloroquine was effective against
even before it was
tested. And then the FDA chairman came out to say no testing has been done.
Yes.
Even I forgot the name of the agency now. The guy who was in charge of that was standing right behind Trump, and he said,
Center for Disease Control.
And he said this has not been tested. But fine, if you want to go ahead and administer chloroquine, fine. But then it has not been tested.
That is part of the problem of Donald Trump. I mean, think before you speak.
It's too hasty.
Sometimes you speak before you think. That happens.
But it seems to do more of talking than thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And that's why some of us are opposed to him, because this requires world collaboration. In fact, it's not a thing that you can.
And it's so important that you don't spread misinformation.
If you spread misinformation,
so that
you don't
lose more. You don't lose more lives in the process.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Let's talk about the U.S. where you stay. Last week, the governor of California.
Yes.
Shut down the state.
Yes.
Only those on essential. Yeah, on the lockdown. Only those on essential duties, like the police, like those health workers, and then grocery stores will remain open as well. If you want to go out and buy your groceries and all of that, you could go out and do that. But people are to stay in.
Yes.
They're only allowed to probably, take a walk in the evening, maybe with their dog and all of that.
I don't know how much.
California is the largest state in the U.S.
It is,
with over 40 million residents.
Right.
And then New York too has also
29 million.
New York too is also on lockdown.
Yes.
Now with that, what impact do you think that would have on the U.S. economy?
It's going to have a terrible.
Because not just if you look at New York, for instance, it's not just the United States of America.
Yes.
If you look at the first 10 economies in the world, you find New York there.
Yes, New York. In fact, California is number 6 out of world economy in order of ranking. So those two states are very, very big and very powerful. But I've been out of place since February 10. I left.
You're lucky. But your kids are there.
My kids are there. All my treasures are there.
Your kids are there. Your family is there.
I'm worried about the place. Yes, and
you have kids who are medical doctors.
Yes,
and they work there in the US.
Two of them are medical doctors and pharmacists and all of that. I have that. I'm so much interested in what happened to the place, and I'm praying that God will come to our rescue, because this is really serious.
But do you think U.S. was wrong not to have, because some people believe that U.S. did not take this seriously at the beginning?
Well, it will not be right to blame the U.S. government, because what happened, it took the whole world by surprise. And it's not
but we saw what was happening in China before this was exported to other places.
Right.
For instance, what is happening in Italy today?
Yes.
Last Friday, I was reading that Italy recorded the highest jump
almost
in the number of 627. But then yesterday was even worse.
Yes, it's around 40 something now. Yes, that's what I hear. And when you are a superpower, you are not called a superpower for nothing. And that's the area where I have to blame Donald Trump and his government, because it happened on his watch. Therefore, somebody has to. He bears some vicarious responsibility.
And there's this back and forth. The Obama administration.
Yes.
It seemed that when they handed over to the Trump administration, they talked to them. They were talk about how to handle pandemics and all of that.
Yes.
But most of the people, in fact, not even most, all the people they talked to within the Trump administration are no longer in the Trump administration.
Yes, most of them have left. Yes.
And I was watching Trump on Friday saying that we made a broken system.
Yes.
We had to discard it and all of that. Placing the blame on the Obama administration.
That is his talking trade, and that's where I disagree with him. He likes to blame.
So they say now it seems that they are starting afresh, dealing with this.
Yes, and it's not true, because government is a continuum. It's not right for you to blame all your problems on your predecessor. That's not right.
We do that in Nigeria too. A lot.
We do that in Nigeria.
Jonathan is the scapegoat.
He's the scapegoat. So that's what I disagree. It's not everything that Donald Trump does that I disagree with, but I disagree with some of the things, especially blaming his predecessor for all the problems he has in the whole world. I am sure if he's the one in government, if he's the one in opposition now, he will be blaming whatever government is in power. He will shift everything on them. So, because he's in power right now, he bears some vicarious responsibility. It's not entirely his fault. We have to admit that, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
But he cannot really go out and say, no, whatever happens, I have nothing, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with him.
because people who follow international, happenings on the international scene, you'll be a little bit scared when you hear that a country like the US, they are running out of medical supplies.
Yes.
They don't have enough testing kits and all of that.
Then we have a problem.
Then what happens to a country like Nigeria?
Nigeria, this is exactly what is happening. And what is happening now, which is regrettable, is that the third world countries are they are just following the example of what is happening in the developed countries, like something. Lockdown this. You cannot, if they lock down in Nigeria, they have no means to enforce it. So, just say.
Well, yesterday, policeman, the IG gave a directive yesterday,
Can he enforce
were
it?
going out yesterday,
It's good, they can speak from his face haven in Abuja. But does he have the workforce?
I went out this morning in Akure. The markets are crowded.
Yes,
they're crowded.
It's impossible.
And I spoke with a woman, Nigeria. I said, Nigeria, when you already have 36 cases,
yes,
and we have recorded a death. You said, Nigeria.
That's part of our problem.
What do you think, government? Because I think government is not doing enough. In terms of enlightenment, especially people in the rural areas, a lot of people don't seem to know that. They don't even seem to know that there's anything like corona. And those who know, some don't believe that it is real. Like the woman I met in the Ojaba market here in Akure today, who said, corona, Nigeria. So people seem to be, information-wise, they seem to be lagging behind. What do you think government should do?
Well, there's little government can do right now because, number one, when you don't have power, you don't have anything. For example, the program we are doing now, under normal conditions, this is a good program that people should listen to and watch, even if possible on live. But when you don't have power outages all over the place. I did a program with OSRC. In fact, only one person told me that he saw it. Only one person. And that person was just lucky that he had light at that particular moment. He was only one person. So when a lot of things is going on, people are not even informed. They don't hear it, what is going on. So that's part of our problem. It's a different thing in America, in some of these developed countries where they have power and they don't have power outages like we do. They can listen to the news, they can listen to the television, but not here. How many people watch television? Ever since I came, since February, if I tell you that I've only watched CNN, maybe about 3 or 4 times. And I watch it on the generator. They have to put on the generator.
That's when you live in a world where you don't really know what is happening in that world.
Yes, you are ignorant.
It's
so
a serious
much of what you are hearing from the market people is based on ignorance, lack of information.
Now, in spite of the ban, the Ondo State government, the state governor, even at the federal level, in spite of the ban, yesterday, Nigeria's trooped to churches, major churches in Abuja, in Lagos, in Ogun State.
That's why I'm confused.
Even here in Akure, because our reporters went out, even people went to church.
In fact, people went to bury their dead. People are still doing burials.
Yeah, I saw parties on Saturday.
And that's why I'm confused. These things you say you want to cancel it, but when you see people still coming out and so on, and there is nobody harassing them, don't do this. Because
so you think government should enforce this stay at home, this ban on social gathering?
Enforce it, but they don't have the means to do it.
Why do you say so? We are policemen. There's the civil defense.
How many policemen? If they have enough policemen to actually defend us, why are we talking about Amatekun? Why are we talking about his bar, the security outfit? Why are we talking about Egbesu and all over the place? They are not enough to maintain order, the law and order. That is the truth. They cannot enforce it.
Now, the price of the Brent crude has crashed. I'm talking about the oil price now.
Yes.
It has crashed. It has already affected Nigerian budget because
they pump gas now.
We say we have diversified, but for what we see now, it seems Nigeria is still a monolithic economy.
It is.
We've slashed our budget by 1.5 trillion naira. Already there are fears that if this should continue, if the price of oil keeps going down, and with this stay-at-home ban on social gathering, offices shutting down, all of that. It could affect payment of salary.
Not only payments of salary, it's going to affect the economy big time. So how long they keep the order?
What is the ray of hope for Nigeria in all of this?
Very little. I see very little hope for Nigeria.
We just have to pray that Corona becomes a thing of the past quickly.
Yes. In fact, all we are doing now is pray about it, because I have not seen any coordinated effort that will work. This lockdown can only work for so long. And I'm sure when it is affecting the economy, they're going to lift it. No matter what happens, they're going to lift it. Because, for example, when you put all the airlines out of business, they won't be. Planes are meant
Major airlines are KLM.
Yes, planes are meant to fly in the air. They're not meant to
to be grounded.
To be grounded. And when you fly them in the air, you cannot be flying them empty. They have to carry people.
You need passengers.
So within a short time, this is going to rebound on the economy, and it's going to cause a major recession in the whole world, which will affect everybody, and it's going to be really sad.
Now, let's look at page 135 of your book, where you wrote about Buhari and the APC. You said APC and Buhari are going to have the shortest honeymoon with Nigerians.
Yes.
Let me read to you.
They did.
When did you write this?
Oh, long time. Just
immediately before Buhari became president?
Yes.
Okay, let me read this to you. There's no way Buhari is going to meet the huge expectations of Nigerians if he continues to drag his feet and simply look the other way.
Correct.
Or because he wants to be too careful and painstaking taking decisions.
Yes.
I know there is a limit to how much we can expect from a 73-year-old man, which probably, let me not read that. Let me know. That is NTBB. However, predicted that the Buhari government is going to have the shortest honeymoon with Nigerians and many of their ardent supporters in the mainstream and social media, and rightly so. Unless Buhari changes his current lethargic snail speed approach to governance, is going nowhere but down, to put it bluntly.
Exactly. When it takes you about 6 months to even form a cabinet.
Well, what you wrote there,
it has all come to pass.
Okay.
It was a prediction, but it came to pass with clock-like precision. Yes, and that's what makes some of my writings so popular with people. Because I write about what I know. I make predictions because I was in the system. So mine is not just an armchair critic. I served in government for 25 years.
This is 2020. Buhari still have 3 more years to go.
Yes.
I know that by 2021, 2022,
yes,
people are going to be talking about a new presidential election.
Yes.
But do you think the situation could still be salvaged?
Well, it could be salvaged, but in a country whereby you just finished one election and you started talking about the other election, what time do you have to govern in ad interim? Because most people...
You're already seeing the interplay of forces for 2023 elections.
Yes, even so much so that the dethronement of Lamido Sanusi, people are already linking that.
I was thinking of asking you questions about, because you wrote about Sanusi in his book. You seem to love him.
I love him because he's a thinker.
Okay.
He's a thinker, yes.
Okay, now, on page 136 of your book, you refer to Buhari as an incorruptible man. Yes. You wrote further on the same page that you were shocked that his declaration of assets showed that he had up to 900 million. Were you trying to, draw an irony from what he seems to proclaim and what he actually is?
Yes.
Were you trying to say that 900 million was too much for a man who claimed to...
I said it was incorruptible because when you are incorruptible, tell me your friend and I will tell you who you are. If you are incorruptible and you are making friendship with people who are corrupt, then it becomes a little bit suspect. When I knew him, I served in the Ministry of Defense from 1968 to 1971. He was just a captain at the time, acting major when I knew him. But everybody, even in the service, in the whole service, knew that he was incorruptible. In the sense that he wasn't taking bribe. And if you see all of the places, Petroleum Task Force, where he has served, he appears to be less corrupt than most of his peers. Let's just put it like that. But
is this still the same Buhari today?
With a lot of regret. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure now.
Okay, on page 138, you criticize the delay in, you criticize Buhari for appointing his cabinet on time, and you seem to have high hopes in the PDP that the PDP will give APC a run for their money. But the PDP of today, would you say, in your own estimation back then, that the PDP has lived up to its bidding as the largest opposition party?
Yes.
Has it played that role well?
Well, the PDP has done something worthwhile, but given the track record of this APC, how they managed to win the way they won, it's a little bit suspect to me. I don't know, but it happened. It happened. I wasn't in the country, and we watched the whole thing on television. Yakubu, the new chairman, he appeared to have done some transparent job from what we can see. But if the track record of APC was anything to go by, one would have expected the PDP to do a little bit better than they actually did. But
I'm not even talking about elections. Opposition parties have a role. Criticize government, provide alternative.
Yes.
Talk about policies and all of that. Would you say the PDP has done that?
Not
but as also just being about criticizing and
but
criticizing.
People are now going back praising PDP, but they were criticizing them when they were in government. Jonathan, everybody said Jonathan was a thief and stole all the money and all of that, and they are saying basically the same thing about the APC today. So I don't even understand Nigerians. I mean, the way we judge our leaders sometimes is very ephemeral. It's very epileptic.
Okay, quickly, let's talk about Sanusi because of our time. Time seems to be far gone. Yeah. You wrote glowingly about Sanusi in this book, and this is Sanusi. This was when it was still the Emir, and now
from his days as governor of Central Bank,
CBN, and then as Emir. Now he has been removed. What's your assessment of his reign as the Emir of Kano?
If you have read the whole book, you would have seen that I also.
Because what I'm asking that is that the grounds of the Kaduna State government against, apart from what they wrote in the query that it was not attending meetings, somebody I love that. But then there were a lot of politics involved. It was criticizing government, and some people felt it should have remained non-partisan. His role as a monarch.
Well, I did write about him, and I predicted that he would not last long too.
Because of his style.
Because of his style.
And the same thing happened to his grandfather.
I wrote all about that. In fact, not just once. I wrote a whole lot, and I predicted what happened. So I'm not completely surprised that it was removed, because when he was governor of Central Bank, he was able to back and bite. But when you become an emir, you can back, but you cannot bite. Because the power doesn't lie in your hand. As a matter of fact, the position of traditional ruler is not even reflected in the 1999 Constitution. So where is their power base? Where does it come?
And they are appointed at
the mercy of
the pleasure of the governor.
The governor, exactly. So
and they can be removed too.
Exactly. So it was because the totality of that I was looking at, and I wrote glowingly about him because he's very knowledgeable, he's very smart. You yourself will agree with that. And he's able to identify the problem, analyze the problem.
When you say smart, boy, is he circumspect?
Is he?
Is he circumspect?
A little bit, but he thought he could get away with it.
From the way he talks, from the way he carries himself?
Yes, from the way he carries himself. He acted as if he was still governor of Central Bank. He was not. When you become the Emir of Kano, then you are under orders. I mean, people will call you names and shout Hosanna and so on, but you don't have the power base.
Okay, I've been talking with Dr. Wumi Akintide, a son of the soil from Accra, one-time commissioner, and he worked with the United Nations. We've been talking about his new book, The Voice of Reasoning, which we are hoping will be launched on the 2nd of April. But with this ban on social gathering, whatever happens, we should let people know. Dr. Akintide, it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me, Dimeji. It's been wonderful. I've watched some of your programs, And I'm glad that I happen to be a beneficiary of it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, this is Destination Point on today's edition of the Roundtable. Thanks for being part of it. My name is Major Danes. Good afternoon.